Hello, today we are going to talk about what exactly happened in the real estate market in 2023 and where I think it's going to go in 2024. So let's get into it. Hi, my name is Cheryl Goetz. I'm the founder of At Home Co. We help you buy, sell, and renovate here in the region of Waterloo while sharing tips and tricks on how to live your best life here. So check out our other videos if you want to know all about our favorite restaurants, walking trails, and everything in between, along with advice for renovating and buying and selling here. So before we dive into where I think we're going, let's take a look at where we've been. Let's look at December 2023, how that compared to November, and how that compared to last year of 2022. So in 2023, everybody knows we saw lots of rising interest rates, which definitely affected our market here. We also saw an almost 15% decrease of homes sold on MLS than the year prior. And we saw a 23.2% decrease when you look at the 5-year average. Just to put it in perspective even more, the Waterloo region 2023 sales saw its lowest point in over 2 decades. So she was a slow one, to say the least. Looking at December 2023 in the region of Waterloo specifically, we ended the year with an average price of detached homes at almost $850, which was up 2.6% from December and down 4.7% from November 2023. Average prices of townhomes was just over $617, which was just slightly up 0.8% from last year and up 1.2% from November. Where we saw some really interesting movement was the apartment style condos. So their average pricing ended up to be $490, which was a 5% increase from last year and a 9% increase from November. So I've been having a lot of conversations in the last couple of months with my condo owners who want to move into a detached home, whether it's fully detached, semi-detached, or maybe even a townhome, just to get the backyard, just to get maybe that second story, a little bit more square footage. They're in this really nice sweet spot right now. Looking at average days on market, the average days it took a home going from active to pending sale, it was 19 in 2023 versus 14 in 2022. And sellers really felt it. A lot of people were sitting 30, 60 days on market, and it was really uncomfortable, and it took a lot of education and communication from realtors to sellers to manage expectations, because we just saw houses being sold in 2 to 7 days the years prior. If you are looking to move to the region of Waterloo or within the region of Waterloo and you want the most affordable choice, first, you should know our region is actually divided into 3 cities and 4 townships. So among the 3 cities, Kitchener-Waterloo, Cambridge, Kitchener actually saw the lowest average prices. And among the 4 townships, North Dumfries, which is just outside of Cambridge and has lovely neighborhoods in it, it saw the lowest average price point. So if you want to be in the region whatsoever and you don't mind a more rural experience, you could check out North Dumfries. But if you really want to be in a city, then definitely check out Kitchener. Okay, what you've all been waiting for, let's chat about 2024. There are 4 things that I think is important to note before looking at a prediction for 2024. So first, we are expecting the interest rates to drop. We've already seen it in fixed rates, and that could not only free up some room in people's affordability who have been actively looking, but it could also get some people off of the fence who have been sitting there saying, I'm not making a move until I see some relief on the mortgage rates. So that in itself could create more demand if more buyers are going to be entering the market. The second thing we need to consider, and this is a biggie, we are going to see from 2024 to 2025, 2.2 million mortgage renewals. That is almost half of all Canadian outstanding mortgages. And when these people renew, they could be going from 1.8% to something in like the 5s and 6s, depending on what their situation is, even more. And people who have been in fixed for the past couple of years, they don't know what's gonna hit them. People who have been in variable, they're getting a taste of it. And maybe a renewal could help them because fixed rates have been dropping. But I looked at my personal mortgage, and even after paying it down for 5 years, when my mortgage comes up for renewal for the new rate at a much lower principal, my payment is still gonna go up. And that could really shock some people, because a lot of people's personal situations, while they could be better, maybe everybody got a raise, but it could also be in a different situation. Could go the other way. People could have increased expenses, people could be on maternity leaves, they could have gotten laid off. So it could be a tricky situation, and I'm curious to see how many renewals lead to more listings. People needing to list and move to a more affordable home, or list and rent. The third thing, which maybe you haven't heard of, but in Ontario, we can now have open bidding, but this is solely at the discretion of a seller. So prior to December 1st, when there was multiple offers, we had to keep them all completely confidential. We could get 5 offers, one could be at $600 and one could be at $850. And we could still go back to the person at, like, let's say $850 and $800 and say, you're the top 2, do you want to improve? And it could go up even more. Where now we have open bidding, which could do different things, but one thing that I think it could do is close the gap on that overpayment. Because if everybody knows the highest offer is $800 and you're sitting at $750, perhaps you just go up to the highest. But what's interesting is sellers could say, we're doing closed, we're doing blind bidding. They could get all of the offers, they can change their mind, and they can open it up. Plus, they can decide what to disclose and what not to. So they could decide to disclose the prices, but not the conditions. They could disclose the prices and the closing dates, but not the conditions. The ball is completely in the seller's court with these new regulations. So it's been tried out a couple times here in the region, but it's only been active since December 1st. It'll be really interesting to see how it plays out this following year. Some sellers are deciding to kick it old school, and some are saying, absolutely, I've been waiting for this. I think it's wrong that we've been blind bidding this whole time. Let's open it up. Let's be completely transparent. Where it gets strategic is when you open it up and what information you share. Because at the end of the day, you could be trying to match the highest offer, but that highest offer could be conditional on a home that needs to sell. So perhaps you wouldn't need to match the highest offer. As a buyer, just a quick tip, just a side note, you can put a clause in your agreement that says, if you share any details of my offer is null and void. So you do have those options to stay confidential if you would like. Now, of course, nothing we're allowed to share on the seller side is your name, your address, anything personal like that. However, some buyers might not want anything shared, even with their prices. And there's a whole other strategy that goes along with that as well. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about 2024. However, I think this is something that's really going to affect our market in the coming year. Okay, lastly is a bit ambiguous. So I just feel like the last 5 years, let's say, we have all witnessed a full circle moment, okay? We saw crazy bidding wars. We saw buying without conditions. We saw overpayment and ignoring comparables. We saw a lot of urgency. We saw panic, okay? And we've also seen the repercussions of that. We've seen the repercussions of buying without conditions. We've seen lenders now incredibly strict on appraisals, perhaps as a repercussion of that, and many people not taking into consideration the new market when making an offer, and it's hitting them on appraisal time, and a lot of people aren't closing because of it. So I like to think that we're going into 2024 with a whole lot of experience and a whole lot of knowledge, because we saw that crazy market. Last year, we saw the return of things selling under asking, things being listed for over 30 days, things being sold conditionally. And I think with both those markets so fresh in our mind, I really hope that 2024, we see an incredibly knowledgeable, insightful, and responsible home buying and selling experience. So keeping all 4 of those things in mind, I do see that we're going to have some increased activity in 2024. Hopefully not that lowest point in 2 decades again. I do think we are going to see a slight increase in prices, but because we still have the higher interest rates, because we have the open bidding, which could prevent the average prices not to like creep up without people knowing they're overpaying, I don't believe it's going to get as out of control as it was, for instance. If you're a seller going into 2024, my best advice is make your home as absolutely appealing as possible, because those are the ones who are gonna win first and fast. It is clean, it doesn't have to be fully renovated, but it has to look cared for and maintained. And there are all these little affordable things that you can do to the home to make it feel so fresh, which I have a video on, that doesn't cost a lot. It's also important to work with a realtor like myself who includes staging and very professional photography and video marketing in their commission package. I think if buyers are gonna go into a bidding war and are gonna have a sense of urgency on a house, it's going to be that type of house. It's going to be the house that they don't have any worries about, because they're not gonna have room in their budget necessarily to do those improvements. Now, if you're a buyer, my advice for buyers, no matter what market it is first and foremost, make an educated decision. It's important to go off gut feelings of how you feel about a house. If it's bad, just don't do it. If it is a good gut feeling and the comps are not there to support what you need to win it, please don't do it. Unless you just have a ton of cash and it doesn't matter what the appraisal is and you're gonna be in this house forever, I still don't know if I would do it, to be honest, because life has a way of throwing us curveballs. If you don't feel comfortable not offering without conditions, there are absolutely ways to be in a seller's market and have conditions. I have done it before. There's different strategies that I have to make that a reality for people. And most importantly, focus on you. Do this when the time is right for you. Don't do it when people are saying it's a great time to buy or great time to sell. Do it when it's right for you, and do it with the right team behind you. Have a very responsive and responsible realtor and mortgage provider that are there looking out for your best interest and not just looking to get paid. I would absolutely love to know what all of you think is going to come down the pipeline for the real estate market in the region of Waterloo in 2024. And if you're looking to move within the region of Waterloo, check out the resources below or reach out to me anytime. I'm always happy to help.